Hello everyone, my name is Aliar and you're watching TecTalk. Today we are going to talk about tuples in Python. This is a data type like list, but there is a slight difference between these two data types. The first is list and the other is tuple. So some people call it tuple and some people call it tuple. So it is your choice, whatever you want to call it, you can call it. So a tuple is basically like a is a data type which we use in Python, like we used list in our case in the previous example that we had. But there is a slight difference. The first difference is the the tuple is immutable. I mean, you cannot change the element of tuple. I mean, once you have defined that in your program, in your code, it is going to remain the same throughout the program. So the lists are changeable, they are mutable, they are alterable, they are you can alter them with the passage of time, according to the need. But here in tuple, you cannot change the element of the data of tuple once you have defined it. So let me give you an example that how can you understand. So for example, we have three cities of Pakistan which I want to use in my code. So the city's name are never going to change, right? So what can I do is I can define city's name. All right. So what we used in list, we used square brackets like this. So this is basically the representation of list in a Python language. But whenever you want to define tuple, you start with parenthesis or round bracket, they call it. So what I'll do is I'll write Karachi. Let's say the first city I have is Karachi. The second city is I have Islamabad, right? And the third city that I have in my mind is let's say Lahore. So these are the three cities or famous cities of Pakistan which I want to use in my program which I'm going to write. So now let me first show you that when you print the element of cities, you do exactly what you did with list in our previous lesson. So if I'm going to print this, if I'm going to run this, I'm going to get the names of the cities printed on my screen with the square brackets. And if you want to access Karachi, definitely you are going to use indexing, and I have Karachi at 0 index, so I'm going to get Karachi at index 0. But now you would realize the difference. For example, I want to say that I want to replace the name of Karachi with Peshawar, right? So what I would do in list, I would say that Karachi, whatever is there at 0, I want to replace it with Peshawar, let's say, or Peshawar, right? So it would work. It definitely would work for list if I had list. But since I have, I have the tuple here, so I cannot change Peshawar or I cannot replace Karachi with Peshawar because the Karachi is part of like tuple. So what will we get if I run the C? The tuple or the tuple is object does not support item assignment. So it means that you cannot add, you cannot change the elements of tuple in Python. So this is the difference between list and Python. For example, if I remove this circular brackets here, if I replace them with square one, and then I run the program, you will see that I will be able to change the Karachi, the city Karachi with Peshawar. So this is the main difference between list and tuple in Python. So please remember that tuple is a data type. It is immutable. You cannot change the element of tuple, and it is defined with round brackets in Python. So that's it. That's very simple. So this is lesson number 6. Now let's go to lesson number 7. That is one of the important lessons that we have in Python, and that is about loops. All right. So now let's talk about loops. So what is a loop? So see. In Python, loop is basically used to iterate the items or the elements that we have saved in any data type. So for the sake of simplicity, let me define a list with the name of. Let me borrow the previous example. For example, I want to print each element from this list. Let me make it list first. It was tuple before that. It can work for the tuple in the same way. So now I want to print Karachi, Islamabad, Lahore one by one. So how can I do that? I will print it like this. Like I have Karachi at 0 index, so I'm going to write city's name, and I'm going to print the 0 index, and it is going to give me Karachi, right? See, or I have already save it, and I'm running this wrong program, so it is 7. See, I got Karachi here, and if I want to print the Islamabad, I'm going to write 1, and let me save it and clear it and run it, and see I got Islamabad. So what I am doing is I am iterating through this list one by one. So I am able to do this here with the names of cities because I only have 3 cities in the list. So what if I have millions of data in the list? I have all the cities in the world, and I want to check that if Islamabad is in the cities or not. So how am I going to do that? The simple power that we have in Python is loop. So I want to find Karachi or Islamabad in the list of cities. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write 4. I'm writing the syntax, and I will explain it in a bit. So let me say if the city's name is equals to since I'm going to find Islamabad, so I'm writing here Islamabad. I'm saying that if the list has Islamabad, print here Islamabad is in the list. Okay. So now let me save it and run it. So what it is going to do is it will first check this city and then this city. Once it finds Islamabad in the list, it is going to go inside this block and then going to print the list, and that will print Islamabad as well, because now I have I, or whatever. If I write I also, then I am going to get the city, or I'll explain it later how there are different ways to write it. So what this is going to do is, for the first time when so this is for loop. So this is a keyword for loop. I means iterator. It is basically going to iterate through the list one by one. The first value of I will be Karachi. In the second iteration, the value of I will be Islamabad. In the third iteration, the value of I will be Lahore. So what I'm saying is, if the I, or the value which is there in I is equals to Islamabad, then print that I have found Islamabad city in the city's name. So if I save it and run it, you will see that I printed Islamabad on the screen. Because what happened, if I change it, if I for example write Islamabad 2, it is going to print nothing on the screen because Islamabad 2 is not present in the list. So if I replace Islamabad with Islamabad 2 in the list and then run it, I would again find Islamabad 2 in the list. So whenever you want to search something or you want to iterate over data and perform some operation, you are going to use for loop. So the syntax is simple. You write for keyword, which is basically the keyword of for loop. Then we are going to write iterator. Iterator is basically whatever keyword you want to write here, you can write. So I is basically first value of I will be this, and then this, and then this, and so on and so forth. City's name means I have a list. If I had tuple, it would work the same way. Let's see. If it were a tuple, it would work the same way. See, it works the same way. The loop works the same way for list and tuple. So the cities, I'm saying that loop over the city's name and check if I has the value of Islamabad 2, then go to this this block. Otherwise you can put else condition as well. You can say that if you do not find Islamabad in the list, you are going to print the city is not in this. The city is not in the list. Okay. So let me save it and run it. It is going to print. First time. It checked for Karachi. So it compared Karachi with Islamabad. The condition did not became true. So it did not become true. That's why it did not get into this block and printed this block. It repeats it again. It got Karachi, Islamabad 2 and compared it to Islamabad 2. The condition was true, and it got into this block and printed the value Islamabad here. And for the third value, compared it with Islamabad, the condition was false, and it came here. So this is how the loop works in Python.
Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.